welcome to everyone that's joined today for our Alto Insider. Today, we're going to be looking at how we can get RICS surveys in 48 hours. We're going to be talking a little bit about the housing market. We're going to be, and if we take you through the agenda as well, might be useful for you. We're going to obviously look at Houzecheck and how they can support you. We've also got a new feature in Alto that's just about to be released, which is Alto AI. So we're going to give you a sneak peek into that. So lots going on. At the end, opportunity to get some live Q&A. So post your questions in the Q&A, and we will answer those towards the end. And also, we're going to be doing a giveaway at the end. Going to be giving out a Alto health check to everyone that's attended. So yeah, lots and lots going on. So let's kick things off with a bit of a sales market update and what's happening in that market. Like we said, we've seen some really positive news coming out today in the Negotiator, the Property Industry Eye, but we've been collating data. So our research director, Richard Donnell, has just done a sales market outlook for 2024. So I'll share that link with you in the chat. But ultimately, what we're seeing at the moment is around a 9 to 10% kind of increase, a 10% boost in agent sales commission in 2024. The sales market is bouncing back. And again, I think we can see that from the news that's come out today, with sales agreed running about 8-9% ahead of last year. So we believe that the market is on track for a 10% uplift in sales volumes versus 2023. Which then should feed through to higher agency revenues, higher commissions. So really, really positive news on that side. But again, as we were just talking about earlier, let's not get ourselves just carried away yet. It's still some tough going out there in certain places. So I'm going to post in the chat a link to our housing market forecast. And in here, you can see the areas that are really starting to progress and those that are still slightly challenging. So just put that there in the chat if you want to see a full overview of what's happening in the housing market. And as we mentioned, mortgage rates, cost of living, those pressures are still there as well. So although we're seeing inflation dropping, mortgage rates are still relatively high, and a lot of people are still holding off to see what happens in that marketplace. But ultimately, really, really positive. And as we look at prices or offers that are being made, we're seeing around about 5% below the asking price. So again, some positive figures there on sales. So I'm going to hand over to James as well. He's just going to talk about how that is also reflecting within kind of RICS, the RICS survey area as well. So again, what you're seeing in the market, James, and again, some of those areas that are causing issues, I guess, with surveys or hold-ups and delays. So I'm just going to hand over to James of Houzecheck.
Yeah, so yeah, as we spoke about earlier, the market's definitely picking up. We've seen a lot more activity, a lot more people requesting surveys. We put the onus on doing a quality survey. So what we're not exactly definitely not the cheapest surveys out there. There's a lot of people use trainees and stuff like that. All our RICS surveyors are RICS qualified, and I've been an estate agent, and there was always a bit of hold back on using surveyors because you always think it's going to wreck the sale. Well, I actually think since I worked in surveying, it's an actual positive. I think you'll find that if people are committing to a survey, they're actually quite committed to buying that property. They're shelling out £500-600 up front, then they can, it's a pretty surefire, pretty hot buying signal that they're really keen on the property. And yes, problems can happen with the survey, things can come up, but it's then just back to negotiation. I think if everyone's up front and open, agents with the Material Information Act are obviously being asked to work and be a lot more open and transparent from the beginning. They're trying to get information from vendors, but you don't always get all the information from vendors up front. So there's an element of covering your own back on that as well. For instance, I've learned a bit. I was going to share some facts with you about things that I've learned about since I've been at Houzecheck that I didn't know about when I was an agent. So Japanese knotweed is one that's been in the headlines quite a lot recently. There's a guy, it's cost him about £10,000 to remove it. There's two ways of removing Japanese knotweed. You can either treat it with herbicides, which is an ongoing treatment, and that has to be then done annually.
Yeah.
The other one is full excavation of a garden. So you can imagine a garden, you have to get diggers in and fully excavate. And now these roots can go down about 3 meters deep. So that's a lot of soil to move.
That is.
Yeah, and it's fascinating. So yeah, actually, it's one of those things that's been introduced to the country, and now we're sort of paying the price for it. It was introduced by the Victorians to shore up. You know, when you see that the shale embankments on railway tracks,
Okay.
they planted them there because the roots go deep, so it shores up the shale embankments. Now the trouble is, houses that are back onto railways, etc., it's spread, and as a homeowner, you have a responsibility with that. You have to get rid of the knotweed, and if it spreads to your neighbour's garden, you're also responsible for that as well. So our surveys pick up on Japanese knotweed. Asbestos is now, when everyone's heard about asbestos, and especially in the property market, you think of old garages and insulation, etc. But again, that's another one that it's been widely used right up until 1980, which is another fact. So I didn't realise it was sort of, I remember hearing about it back when I was at school, but the fact it was sort of used to 1980 is another worrying one. And it can be in pipe lagging, it can be in like insulation for flues for central heating. Warm air heating was a favorite in the sort of 60s, 70s for heating houses. A lot of that is asbestos fluting. So again, that's another thing that we would check for, again, putting people's mind at rest. And then the old favorite is damp. Now there's obviously 3 types of damp. There's rising damp, which I think a lot of agents have come across, especially if you work in an area that's got a lot of Victorian properties, etc. You've all had that conversation where there's damp in the walls, it's been picked up by a surveyor. You get a damp specialist in, they can sort these things fairly quick. They can inject membranes where there aren't any, etc. Another one favorite is things like blocked drain pipes, where the rain comes in, it's running down the wall on the outside. So again, that causes massive damp issues. And then there's the one that has come up a lot in rentals recently, is the mold that's caused by condensation, poor ventilation, etc. So all these things you learn about, and it's the importance of having a survey. There was a study done that people who didn't have surveys, the average cost of stuff they found after they moved into property was about £5,700.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot to worry about. And I think the positives for agents, like I say, it commits money. People are sort of keen for buying it. If there's a problem found, I've done it myself. You go back, you renegotiate. If the boiler's broken, something like that, you can renegotiate and everyone's happy. And that helps that sale move forward. It's not going to fall out down the line. At the end of the day, cash flow is king in a estate agency. And the longer that sale takes to go through or falls through and has to be resold again, it's not an ideal. And I think what it just gives that buyer is peace of mind. They're buying peace of mind with it, that they're actually getting something that's solid, reliable. And if there are any issues, they've been highlighted and they can decide what they're going to do about that.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'd heard of Japanese knotweed. I'd seen it before when I'd worked in agency. I didn't really know what it was. So yeah, it was great to get that insight as well. And yeah, interesting how it was brought over and where it was used for those railways.
Yeah.
Again, I think when we think about asbestos, we go into certain rooms and look up sometimes, or go into garages again with those kind of those roofs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, there's your asbestos.
Yeah, and you do it, and asbestos, as long as it's handled properly by proper specialists, it's fine. The thing is, you just keep away from it yourself. But it's been in all sorts of, ironing boards, things like that. It's been all around us for years, and it's only relatively recently we've realised what a health issue it is. But it's actually quite a good product and insulates, etc. well. Hence, what I was using in house building. But obviously, the outfall of that is it's dangerous to health, and people didn't know that it's carcinogenic. So
sure. And there's a key difference, isn't there, between normally your mortgage valuation survey, which comes as part of like you're applying for your mortgage, and then obviously what you're offering, which is that full RICS assurance survey as well.
Yes, correct. So you usually have to pay for a valuation when you have a mortgage done. Very, very unlikely you wouldn't. That will give you a price that the bank is willing to lend you and happy to lend you against that property. As regards issues with it, they wouldn't pick any of that up. They might do a drive-by, they might do a desktop. If they're doing a drive-by, they're basically looking to see if the roof is on there, and they'll give a price. And they use, same as all the agents, we would use a comparable, and they would actually look other areas in the market. We use Rightmove ourselves. We have a surveyor's Rightmove, which I didn't know either existed. There's a surveyor's side to Rightmove. We can look at historical house data, exactly the same as you can as an agent. So they're coming from the same place. So if a valuation's right, they usually tie up. But as regards issues and that, you know, agents, not all agents are builders or have experience in property. So that peace of mind that a survey's been done and everything's good with the house, less chance of it falling through.
Excellent. So we're going to look at Houzecheck in a little bit more detail and how we can start to refer direct from Alto. But again, in terms of some stats, that survey reports return 400% faster than the market average of recent. And again, we've got some information here on Houzecheck. One that I'm sure people are going to be very, very keen on is the commission structure that's available. If you refer with an Alto, just want to kind of talk us through though. Again, I can see you've got a Trustpilot review here, the kind of commissions that you're offering agents.
Yeah. So yeah, we're rated as excellent on Trustpilot, and we've got well over 1,000 reviews on there now. And people love our service. We do a very, very good job. Like I said earlier, we are not the cheapest. We wouldn't want to be the cheapest. I think, you know, in some elements of surveying, there's a race to the bottom. What we do want is good quality leads. And at the end of the day, on a property sale, the agent's at the sharp end of it. So we're looking for leads from agents with their buyers who are looking for a peace of mind situation. You know, if we get a survey referral lead that leads into a successful survey, we pay £100. We pay that twice a month as well. So I found when I was an estate agent, you're always the last to get paid. You're always down the bottom of the pecking order. So actually we pay, as soon as the survey's done, we pay. The longest it'll be sort of 15 days. So it's always good to help with a bit of cash flow.
Brilliant. And I can see here again that you're kind of cutting average rate times for surveys as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So the average wait for a report on a survey is 3 weeks. So on that 3 weeks, there's a lot of tradition in surveying where some of the surveyors will still go home and they'll hand type out a report, whereas ours is run on tech. So it's a bit of AI tech. So the surveyors use it on the way around their property. It prompts them, it asks questions, and that will actually build a report while they're going round. And they still go away and proofread it. They still add other notes, etc. But the reality of it, a level 2 survey, our average time for turning around a report on that is 48 hours.
Oh, okay, pretty
So,
good.
yeah, it's a very, very good product, and we've just updated it again. So it's tech, and it's been designed by surveyors. The surveyors actually enjoy using it, and the quality reports are all RICS, done on the RICS traffic light system, so green, amber and red, so any issues. But one good thing about our surveys as well, a lot of people, I remember as an agent, you read some reports and there's almost a sense of panic in them, and oh, look at the roof, it might fall down in 10 years. There's a lot of back covering there. Well, one good thing about our reports is our surveyors will give the buyer a call a day later and talk them through the report after they've received it, so they can actually explain any things in there. So it just sort of gives an element of calm to it, and it's nothing to worry about. Speak to a damp specialist, speak to a Japanese knotweed specialist, whatever there is, and then it's a conversation piece again. And we like to be transparent with the agents. So if there's any issues with the survey, we'll talk to the agents about it, because again, agents are last to know on a lot of things. It all falls out. Someone makes a phone call on pulling out the property because of the survey. Nobody can help, and you know, the agent has to put the house back on the market again, not necessarily knowing what was said in that survey and why it fell out. So yeah, like I say, we try and be transparent, we try and be efficient. We offer level 2 and level 3 surveys, and we'll also do Redwood valuations. So if you have requirements for, say, a probate survey, which is quite often has to be done by a RICS surveyor, again, we'll do that. And if we get a lead from the agent, we will pay £50 for that as well.
Yeah, I must admit, I like the idea, and again, the sound of how they're liaising with those parties to explain the survey. I must admit, when I worked in agency myself, so many times I would see that a buyer would come back and was just absolutely freaked out and horrified by what they were reading in the survey.
Yeah,
A lot
we've
of
all had to deal with
their
it. It's,
risks.
yeah, and there's a
Yeah,
lot of alarmism in there because, and I was sort of the surveyors covering their backs, you know, in case
yeah,
something comes back on them. And actually, a good open discussion about what they've found sets people's minds at rest, and they're like, oh, it's not so much of an issue, and I can go through and I can carry on and buy the property. You know, there might be an issue there. They have to have a conversation with the vendor about something that's wrong with the property. But
yeah.
again, an open conversation with all parties involved, including the agent, it keeps the sale on.
Does, yeah. Like I say, so
Yeah,
many times I've seen that, you know,
yeah,
just absolutely terrified by what's written and how it's written
yeah,
to, ultimately protect themselves. But
yeah,
it wasn't as
absolutely.
alarming, maybe as it sounded.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
let's have a look. You know, if you now want to refer to Houzecheck and get your surveys, how can we do that in Alto? So I'm just going to head into Alto, and there's two areas that you can refer to Houzecheck. If I head into a sales progression and I choose a particular sale, let's go for this one here at 21 Newarth Road. You will see there's a make a referral button within the progression. So if I select that, make a referral, this will take me into my referral partners that I've got set up. We can see down here, we have Houzecheck. If I want to expand, read more about them, I can. But as I select that, I can refer the selected. Again, I can choose what contact I wish to refer. And again, I can confirm that I have their consent to do so. And I can now send that referral over and across that goes. I'm sure I'm probably going to get an email and some calls from Houzecheck in a moment about that referral. But
We
that's
are
one area.
efficient.
That's it. One area that we can. I know this because I was checking it the other day. And that's exactly what happened. But I can also do some contacts. So if I head into a contact record as well, we can refer direct from contact. So as I head into here and I select my make a referral, it's exactly the same workflow. We can choose who we wish to refer, follow the same process here. If you want to activate Houzecheck, head into tools and our integration section where you'll see our client services and referrals. Here you can see our referral partners. But again, if you click into tell me more, this is where you can read all about Houzecheck, the benefits, the commissions. And again, you can either register your interest, that will go through to the team over at Houzecheck, or you can select integrate, and that will turn on the referral process for you.
Yeah, we're getting people integrated within about 24 hours at the moment. So I know it gives us a bit longer on there, but we turn it around fairly quickly.
Brilliant. Fire questions in the Q&A. So if you've got any questions for us at the end, again, feel free to submit those. I can see a couple coming through and we will get around to those. But yeah, thanks, James, for that great insightful information, especially around obviously all those issues, Japanese knotweed and the insights and different types of damp. It was really, really useful. We're now going to give a bit of a sneak peek into a new feature that's about to be released in Alto. So Alto AI property descriptions. Now, just before I do that, how are agents using AI at the moment within their agency? Simon Leadbeater, who runs the voice of the agent, recently carried out a survey and found that 74% of agents are actually using AI for word content production. 75% of agents found AI very, very useful within their business. And 90% of those agents are currently using Chat GPT in order to, again, produce their content. Now, I'm just going to share Simon's voice of the agent document here for you as well. So if you're interested in reading more about the survey that he conducted, more about how AI is used in agency, how agents are marketing, I've just popped that in the chat for you. But let's have a look at what we're doing in Alto. So we're about to release AI property descriptions. This is to save you time, help you populate those descriptions within Alto, and you can then add additional details or options to it. So rather than me talk about it, let's show you what that will look like. And this can all start from the very beginning of the journey. So you may have seen me talking about earlier our new add a property workflow. So as I head into properties, I can now start to populate data automatically. So if I click on add a property, it will take me into my workflow where I can start to search for my contact record. Again, I can create a new contact from here. Once I've got my contact, again, I can select who that is and decide whether I want to use their current address or add a new address, of which I'm going to pop one in. Let's go for SW1ORG. And actually hope that is a real postcode. There we are, typical. We pop one in there, it doesn't really exist. So I'll go what I normally do and stick one that I know about. So let's now select a property and then look up that property. And as we do, this will pull through the address, it will pull through marketing data, if it's currently on the market, maps, as well as populating property details, if it has it, rooms, bedrooms, bathrooms, energy efficiency. It will populate all of this data for you. And you can start to add your appraisal notes as well. As we save that property, we can now continue that workflow to book a market appraisal. Again, we've added the feature that you can see diaries, search for colleagues to view their diaries. Again, you can see that coming up. Again, add additional diary notes and save that appointment. So again, automating a lot of this information for you. As I continue to work through, and I'm just going to pick a random property to save me doing a valuation, as we now continue to instruct that property, what we've now got within the summary is now the ability to populate the description using an AI and all the information it picks up as part of that journey. So as I head into here, I can just say, generate a summary for me. It'll pick up the bedrooms, the bathrooms, all the information we've read. And here we go, generating that property description. If there's bits that I want to add into it, so if the property has a swimming pool, large gardens, great schools, I can add that in, regenerate, and again, I'll pick up that additional information and again, starts to populate the information for me. So now you can see it's adding in like our standout features, our large gardens, obviously located sort of area with great schools nearby. Again, just really speeding up that process. So we've just been trying this with a few agents over the last couple of weeks. We expect to see that rolled out across everyone within the next week to 2 weeks. So look out for our AI summary generator. I'm going to head into the Q&A. But just after Q&A, again, we're going to have a giveaway. Going to be giving away some health checks, which we're going to populate in the chat for you as well. But we've had a few questions come in. So, excuse me. One of them was, how does Houzecheck offering work with Alto? Hopefully we've seen that. But James, you want to just kind of, really talk through that?
Yeah. So, just I think if you go into your into the section where you can look and make and do a referral. I'm trying to remember because I don't use it. I do it from the other end.
So if I head into contacts, probably the most simple way to do it. Obviously, we've got our make a referral.
I think, and to take it a step back, if you want to refer to us, you can look inside your referral side and actually just tell me more information. That will then activate something through Alto to us, and I'll get your details through and I'll give you a call and talk you through how it all works. But the setup's fairly easy. Like I say, we can get you set up within about 24 hours and start paying you. Sorry.
So I say, tools, just to clarify, go to tools, integrations, client service referrals. You can say, tell me more. And again, you can either integrate automatically or register your interest, and that will fire all your information across to James. The next question that I've had is, why would someone need a survey on their property? I think you probably discussed that earlier, but just want to kind of recap some of those key reasons for why and the benefits.
Yeah, of course. I think the important thing is peace of mind. It's there's so many unknowns in a property, and it's probably the biggest investment of your life. So if people are looking for a survey, it's a good sign because they're taking that property seriously. They want to buy it and they just want peace of mind on it. So I think there's so many unknowns and so many properties in different ways of construction. You think you can have everything from like a sort of standard brick built property on an estate to thatched cottages to old pubs to castles. There's so many different kinds of property. To be an expert on all of those is difficult, even if you know a little bit about property. So to get a surveyor in who's fully qualified and, you know, RICS accredited and knows their stuff, that's the important thing. And the important thing about that is different parts of the country have different idiosyncrasies on property. So you think of the Cotswolds, you think of thatched cottages, etc. Our surveyors are all locally based, so they know those areas, they know those types of property, they know that they're constructed, and that's really important. So I think it gives your buyer peace of mind, and also you can earn a fee out of it, so that's a good thing.
Okay, Jason, Davis Properties, Alto are great, system enhancements they're bringing into the table are great. You mentioned about spending some time on our email system. We do have new email templates where you can just drag attachments straight from your desktop. So like I say, maybe make use of the link I'm going to populate in the chat in a moment, book a session with one of our team and they can show you how that can be done. Back to James B. Do you do H2B surveys? Just come through from Francis.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do that. We yeah, that comes under your sort of RICS evaluation. So yeah, we're happy to do that.
Brilliant, excellent. I know we're getting short on time, so any other questions that come in, we will respond back to you. But we've been talking about obviously a giveaway. Jason, in line to your question about the email system and drag and drop and attachments. We're going to do an Alto Health Check giveaway. So thank you for attending. One of our team will ensure you're utilising Alto to its maximum capacity. They'll take you through the latest features, provide you a sneak peek into what's about to be released. And again, check that you are using things like our new email templates with our drag and drop and our attachments. They'll take you through in more detail the new Added Property journey and actually show you how it is populated in the bedrooms, the bathrooms, giving you predicted prices. They can show our new property valuation reports that we've, again, started to give you insights to. And ultimately, just make sure that you're maximising things like your Alto groups and your dashboards as well. So I'll populate now into the chat that link. These health checks are available throughout April, May, and halfway into June. So grab your session, but book that into your calendars. Get one of our experts to really ensure that you're using Alto to its full benefit as well. Otherwise, we'd like to thank you for joining. If you want to know more about Houzecheck, you can scan the QR code. We've also got something really exciting to share with you. So we're going to have a bonus insider on the 1st of May. So we will be sending out emails and details following this session today with links to join. But again, if you want to get ahead of the curve, feel free to scan that QR code, look out for that exciting news that's going to come out on the 1st of May. Thank you everyone for your time. And James, thank you for the great insights and attending today.
Thanks very much.
No problem. Thank you, everybody.